Ivy quirks an eyebrow and says, who is Andaria? Is it that a surviving alchemist you told me about?
Yes, Andaria Savastia, the last Savastia, is the surviving alchemist whom... And Rilinid pauses, like quirking his head towards the other side of the table. In Alunari's infinite wisdom, decided to keep alive so that she might prove her worth.
Has she done anything suspicious yet?
Well, Neri shakes her head. She has done as I've asked her to do.
Ivy seems to consider, and she is not trusted by the council in general, then I take it?
Well, Neri looks to the others.
Then
Speak your mind.
We cannot trust her, not ever. The question is, do we have to trust her? Can we perhaps monitor her or restrict her access to the important things so that we can still use her expertise without having to sacrifice anything?
Well, Neri looks to Gorval and Qual especially. Is that you know of her? Is she as disinterested in matters of state as she would feign?
Gorval seems to consider. I was mostly concerned with the disciplinaries of the troops, my lady. The little I spoke to her, she seemed to be more of a political loner, as it were. I do not think she made any attempts to oust her dear Baroness. He smiles. She was more concerned with the strange research she was doing in her laboratories, and I think she is still doing in her laboratories. Qual looks, he looks grim as he usually does, and he says, Matron, I would urge some caution when it comes to Andaria. We do not know for sure her motives or what her final goal is. I have known her for some time, and she is cunning. Make no mistake. She is very intelligent, and she can move through the political landscape of such a small community as ours fairly safely. Remember, she stayed more or less in favor with the fickle former Baroness for her entire stay here. But as Gorval said, I never saw her make any overt claims to power here.
Well, Neri nods and looks at Rilinid and says, I suppose I would have no problem with her taking over the tower. However, it seems prudent to have the expertise of the Zan and the goodwill, as we will need their aid in our irrigation and use of the fungal jungle. It is quite the expense. However, it is one that we might have to make.
Tarling clears his throat. My lords, he looks around. I do not know Andaria Savastia personally, but I can somewhat sympathize with her situation. He looks around. At this point, I see little reason for her to act against the new rule. She has nothing to gain and everything to lose. All her research is still in the tower. He looks around. If she were to go against us at this point, she would no doubt be executed or sent to either Master Gorval or Lord Rilinid for proper ministrations. He smiles.
I do not sound see... of a neck popping.
Here, Tarling smiles. My vote is that she should perhaps be given a chance. I don't see her betraying us anytime soon at this point. And if she is intelligent, as you say, Lord Qual, then her intelligence might be sought and should be used by us in this, as you all already said, precarious state.
Elinary nods openly. Says, I myself have plans for her intelligence. She seemed to do much paperwork and assist much in the ruling of others when the leader was incompetent. I had thought to seek her out and see if she is worthy of my interest. If so, then I could make personal use of her as a secretary. Of course, if she proves worthy of more than she shall receive. Merit is the utmost importance, after all. He looks to the others. For now, however, we still need the Zan. And our relations with the peoples of the Fungal Jungle seem to be something that should be taken good care of.
Particularly as, when the months pass, we are trying to expand into what they have known as home. Good relations will ensure that our encroachment upon territory they might see as theirs is waved away instead of scrutinized heavily. We operate best under minimal scrutiny.
Well, no, not. I will trust it to you, brother, then, to make sure we get as favorable deals with them as possible.
I agree. From a military point of view, we have if us trying to expand caused problems, we'd be completely defenseless against them. Keeping on good terms is definitely the best idea.
Okay.
That's settled. I don't think I need to roll like the diplomatic check and stuff until like I actually arrive at Zan.
Yeah. That's what we take care of over there.
I have a feeling it's gonna go horrible.
That's right.
But I already paid for all of it, so...
That's right, that's right. You know, like, already subtract, yep, 16,000, like, roughly gold pieces worth of, like, arcane esoteria.
What you brought was all the test specimens of Zan we have here. I brought these to you.
It is a grand diplomatic entrance. Rilinid will do in Zan, definitely.
Oh, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, with all that BP, I just imagine, like, him, like, personally, like, making all this, like, cool magic shit. Like, oh, yes, I know the Zan would really appreciate this.
It's like a drow instrument, right? They like music and singing. So.
That's right. So in order to actually get someone fucking powerful enough to work the damn tower, I'm going to need to be awesome. And I am fucking fabulous.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
16,000 gold
of fabulous.
like closed, like yes. Amazing glamour effects and shit, just like radiance.
Chains of gold around his neck and such.
Yeah, like
The
shines as he
diplomatic
walks.
money has been spent.
Yes.
Let's see. Yes. Then.
The income things?
No.
I don't think where we are.
Mika will say. Then, when it comes to promoting the new settlements, trying to send out some word, perhaps that we are open for business. He looks around. How much the presence, if I understood it correctly, is to be a token at this point?
Yes, only a token amount. After all, it will be some time before we actually get to the fungal jungle and build anything in it. There's no need to whip people in a frenzy just to have nothing.
We currently do not have the room or stores to support a large population. That will come in time.
Tarland smiles. I heard also that you suggested a festival, my lords. He looks over to Trislin. I am eager to hear what the High Priestess has in store for this grand occasion. And when is it? He smiles.
Okay, out of character, I have not heard of that.
What?
Well, one clear idea you can always have is like an event for our birthday.
Well, you knew that as the High Priestess, you even joked about it. You were responsible for the holiday edicts.
You are.
But you joked about it.
No, you are actually responsible.
You
for
are
it.
actually responsible for it.
Yeah.
Oh god, now I know how it's Darkfield. We don't have money for a festival.
We're doing it anyway.
You have decided to have one festival per year at this point.
Well, the only one we have had is this celebration of our birthday.
Okay.
I mean, 5 lords having their birthday at once.
Yeah, that's pretty
Again,
amazing.
there might be better uses of such a festival. Praising Garrus, for example, she currently does not have the greatest sort of image. Maybe there could be something about that.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. I had a talk about that.
We could spin her in a manner which appeals to Zvirfnebla.
Elinari would never suggest that.
No, but the thing is, we did have a talk because Agaris like creativity, and me and Manaki had talked about that. Well, at least I talked to Manaki about it. That a good way to get the people in is to actually what's it called in English? Make them engage in this creativity and actually show them to use their creativity to, for example, make an art gallery.
Like art festival?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is the art is about Agaris as a tribute to Agaris.
Well, art about Agaris might be a bit,
That
Very
depends on
almost
how you see it.
It's
You could play on the themes.
sorry, almost no one who would enter into the festival would actually know like anything about Agares. So
No, but the thing is, she likes creativity, so it can be art. It can be what you want to show.
Music.
It doesn't have to be something she's, just about her. Just be creative about it.
Yeah. Colin nods slowly. A creative festival with art as one of its main events might be interesting. The gnomes have worked in marble for generations, haven't they? Sort of looks at Sandor and Ivy. I'm sure something in that vein could be appreciated.
Oh, he said vein, and it's funny because marble vein. Ah.
I did not get that before you said it, and that is so cheesy.
Elinari looks at Tristan and an appreciating sort of glance as she says, I believe such could be done. Appeal to the aspect that is most, the least intimidating at first.
It's a great opportunity to get the people to learn about Agaris and ask about Agaris.
Besides, it is a way in which art is something that breaches many gaps and can be understood by two so different beings as the Swervneblin and the Drow alike. The creator of a statue could be anyone.
Oh, now I know what she wants.
Tarlin nods. I see. Well, educating the population on the intricacies and mysteries of our Dark Lady is certainly to be an interesting prospect, he smiles. Perhaps some sort of reward or something to be lavished upon the one who creates the most evocative piece.
Oh, there he looks at Tristan, sort of does a hand gesture that she'll handle it.
Tristan will look at Tarlin, and that is what I was thinking.
Tarlin seems to consider. The question is, of course, but that is a more grand question for the High Priestess to ponder, perhaps outside the council. However, I am personally somewhat curious. the dread patron of which my lords of Vytharia have the great privilege of having. He sort of thinks, the rest of the council, we know precious little of this patron.
Give it a rest, Grimith.
He looks around. If the intricacies and the mysteries of the Dark Lady remains unknown to us, is there... He sort of looks around. Is there any plans to spread the word, as it were? Do you see Agaris as the premier religion of the state?
Laneri looks at Tarlin and says, Agaris is the premier religion of the state. Whether the people follow is up to them. I foresee, personally, that the cult of Agaris will grow, and it might be the place where the governing body, the state as it is, looks to find those who would take office or important roles.
It will take many years before official buildings and grandeur can be properly constructed for Agares, but our High Priestess, Lady Trislin, will do her best to ensure the people are ready, and indeed she has learned much of the lore from my understanding, and any questions can be properly directed to her.
Laneri nods. You should all take some time to, perhaps an evening or two a week, spend time with her when you get the chance to learn. These things might be useful.
Tristan looks very nervous.
Tarlin looks at Tristan and smiles a very, almost like a wolfish smile for a second.
Rilinid's eyes glitter like behind the mask. Indeed, Tarlin, you have been the most curious and helpful. Perhaps if you understood Agares better, that would help others.
He nods at Rilinid, and then he again turns and smiles at Tristan. Oh, I'm sure it will, Lord Rilinid, and with the High Priestess's approval, I would definitely wish to learn more of Agaris.
Tristan looks nervous, but nods. Of course, I'll be glad to.
There he has her eyes fixed on Tristan.
Why?
Seems to approve of her answer.
Oh.
Rilinid has his eyes fixed on Tristan.
This is terrible.
Lana feels jealous.
No, this is great.
I bet. Wait, which one? I think we all kind of wanted to use time with Tarlin. I'm not sure if it was Rain or Sin who wanted.
Laneri doesn't really care about talent.
I mean, Rain's already spent a ton of time with Tarlin, as Jonas knows.
Yep.
And we all got the heart for him.
He's so handsome.
He's so handsome.
Mysterious.
Yes.
Who better to experience and sample that mystery than Tristan herself, right?
He's just like a damn peasant. That's what I used to be. Afraid of saying it. We all think he has some grand tale.
Rilinid feels as if all of his attempts to be like Drow matchmaker over the months have come to fruition.
Why would you do that?
Rilinid wants to get his sister out of her shell. He thinks that Tarlin can help her.
That is the worst suggestion ever.
Well, no one said Rilinid would be good at matchmaking.
Tristan is not even happy sitting here next to a torturer. The worst space to sit.
Would you like Zin to sit there next time?
You know, torturing is an important part
Yeah, that's right. An important pastime.
Next year?
Right. All the better to understand the others, my dear.
Exactly. I must know what you...
And so Tarlin shall learn at your leg, and sample all of the glories Agares has to offer.
I am at your internal service.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Now then. It's actually Qual who sort of raises a hand here. My lords, there are something of quite import that we need to discuss here at this council. He looks around.
Eyes fixes upon him.
It has to do with general law and order in the society. As you all know, normally the different noble houses of a drow state would extend their influences into quarters and areas of the city and the area itself. Their laws would govern that part of the city, with the greater and most powerful of the houses, in Teresia's case the one who holds the merciless throne, dictating over all laws for the community. He looks around. As such, drow society is normally rife with criminality, corruption, and lawlessness. Looks around. It is a volatile state, as you all know. Looks around. We must concern ourselves exactly what type of rule of law we want established in our own domains. That is something I wish we all to discuss.
Oh, there he looks upon everyone. Says, in this new kingdom, there is one family that is supreme to all others. It says, there is no merciless throne, there is no power to be bargained for, there is no way to raise above. She doesn't really say anyone. People know. However, there will be a bureaucracy. There will be rules, there will be laws, and within these laws and rules, appointed. I see you being raised up if you are worthy. Those who do the best work will be promoted. Those who get lax and lazy and useless will get demoted and thrown into the dust. Agaris frowns upon content. You should always strive and be ambitious. Attempt to do better at what you do so you can reach an even greater height. That shall be the center of our society. An orderly competition for greatness. Discipline is important.
Qual seems to consider. So, as he looks around, meritocracy then.
Neri nods. From the ruler down.
Seems to slowly nod. But yeah, basically what Qual is asking for is some sort of like basic outline or guideline for rule and sort of normal law in the kingdom. He is the warden, and therefore it is his job mainly to keep the law and to patrol the streets and make sure everyone is safe. So yeah, like, and this is a question generally for Team PC here. Like, what kind of like guiding principles would you suggest the kingdom to have? And I think here, if everyone like thinks and maybe suggests one, we can sort of discuss it out from there. It doesn't at this point have any like rule technical implementation, but it gives a feel of the sort of society you wish to create, right? Manaki suggested meritocracy, for instance. That is, if you perform well, you can sort of rise in the ranks.
As mentioned before as well, Rilinid will just sort of like continue to like roll his shoulders and pop his back. It is imperative at this time that we drow disguise and blunt the normal horrid reputations we have with other races. At this time, we are too mewling and too pathetic to stand on our own against the fungal jungle, let alone the merciless throne. In order to advance, particularly as the trade routes deepen and our empire grows, it will become necessary for Drow to work cooperatively with others, in not the typical slave master role. If this is insufficient for any Drow, he may be left in the dust.
Culinary nods. If a gnome is better at a task than a drow, then that drow should just feel all the more shame.
Until such time as things could be changed, perhaps for the better, perhaps for naught, racial equality will be a tenet of this kingdom.
Culinary frowned slightly.
Gorval Harak looks positively scandalized as he looks over to Rilinid. But my lord, surely you jest. Equality.
I'm afraid not. Rain looks over to him. I have been doing the same thing in the army, trying to calm them so we don't have as many damn squabbles when it comes to trying to just defend the damn towns.
Rilinid, go ahead.
Culinary stands up now, sort of looking at everyone. She says, "This is a plot of contention, but tell me then, Gorval." She turns her attention to him, putting the responsibility on him to answer. In what way are the Drow superior? He raises a hand for him not to sort of answer yet. That would not be shown by superior results in almost every task. And in what way are the Drow that act and produce inferior results to others, perhaps lesser races, not to be punished for that?
Yeah. He has his
Drow
scowl.
Are proud, and they do not need special treatment in order to be superior. Or do you disagree?
Matron, he says, it seems to me that the Drow are superior by birth and by their very nature. It is us that have created the grandest and most powerful societies here in the darkness. He looks around. These others are merely workers. They are stone cutters. They are farmers. They do not aspire to the same heights as the Drow do, and they can never do it. It is not in their nature, matron. At this point, Ivy stands up, and you see her start grabbing for something that you might think be a dagger.
Rilinid extends a hand towards her, like palm outward.
She has a certain murderous glare on her face, but she stiffly sits down again.
Gorval, your opinion is certainly not unique. It, in fact, is ubiquitous. Rilinid leans against the table. However, I would say this. The typical assumption of grandeur and outright superiority leads to complacency and content. It leads to disastrous rule of Lady Satha Sevastia, who squandered her resources and scowled fervently as she sought any way out of her plight. The noble houses are rife with the corruption and, quite frankly, disorganization which leads to really a lack of progress. That is why Teresia is content to just sit all the way so far as it is, otherwise we would have been squashed out near immediately. If the Drow are so superior, then it will be shown in the years and decades to come. Certainly we have the longevity to meet that goal, Gorval. But at this time, we who are so superior, as you say, couldn't stand on our own. In fact, we needed Fastival to achieve anything. Otherwise, you would be under a Baroness who would have pissed away anything that you would have dared hope or dream. Certainly, I imagined that you were getting rather bored with your lack of subjects to dedicate to your own personal service, Gorval. By all means, we could return to such a role, and you could just sit there with nothing but a random yipping kobold or a drow who failed to protect a drawbridge.
Gorval, he looks quite upset, but he seems to suppress it as he leans back in his chair, sort of sighs, looking down at the map in front of him, and says, "I see your point, Lord Rilinid."
I don't expect you to agree, nor will I demand it. I expect you to accept that this is the current condition of our kingdom.
He nods. "As you say then, my lords. Equality it is."
Honorary frowns. She does not like the word equality. It doesn't.
Gorval certainly said it with a air of obvious contempt, but for now he leans backwards in his chair and sort of turning his gaze inward almost.
If there are any more logical objections, but seeing as how half of the current kingdom as it stands consists of Svirfneblin, and our allies consist of Mycoloid Zan and Arachnid Skisral, in the direct, assumed, and perhaps comfortable approach known to the Drow would be suicidal.
Qual haven't really said anything at this point. He seems to look down. But both Ivy and Sandor and Miku are certainly nodding to this.
Rain's clearly given Rilinid a look of agreement here. It's almost like he'd given a speech similar to the one you gave a minute ago.
Elinary just again nods slowly and says, "It is shameful in some ways. However, we must understand the need for merit to be held in high regard. If not, we will lump together and sink into the despicable cesspool that is ordinary noble life. There must be constant competition, and one must never feel safe in one's current location. Results are the deciding factor in one's worth."